welcome to Happy You Asked, the podcast where we explore a little thing called happiness, one awkward conversation at a time. And I am Erin Claire, your host. I am joined today by Dr. Lynnette Gilbert, and that is Associate Professor of Art Education at Arkansas Tech University, where her research focuses on African American women in art. She is the 2025 Art Educator of the Year for the Arkansas Art Educators Council. I think I said that right. And serves as the director of the Wingate Summer Art Launch for Arkansas educators. Lynnette, I am so thrilled to have you on this podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. All right. First question.
Oh,
What is your definition of happiness?
okay. So that's still a hard question. Just want you
It
to
is a
know
hard question.
it's nothing easy about that one. But for me, happiness is a state of being. So even if I'm at a low point, I can reflect on that state of happy. So if it's that thing, it's that person, it's that situation, it's that moment that brings me to happy and happiness. Um, Happy is actually the journey I've been on to get to where I am. Because
Mm.
I can't say that everywhere I've been just truly happy, but I know for sure I've always said I'm on my path to happy.
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
it's a being, it's a destination, it's a state.
A
If you
state.
if I yes.
I like that. I like that very much. Can you describe some moments when you felt that way? That state of being?
Mm. Oh, this even though I have no desire to move back to Mississippi, every time I'm home, every
Mm,
time I'm home, it's a feeling of happiness. It's just sitting in my mom's house.
mm,
A hug
mm,
from a niece or a nephew. When I go, because I lived in Memphis for so long, that's like a second home to me. When I am just there, like I love Memphis. When I'm there, I automatically feel happy.
mm,
It's so things like that. And, art. When I am around art, I'm happy.
mm.
That doesn't matter. And then I got a chance to go to the museum just recently with a friend of mine who's not an artist, but I love going to the museum with her because she's excited about everything.
Mm.
Everything just makes me so happy. But as I'm walking through and I'm looking, I'm like, that's a Robert Pruitt. Oh my gosh, that's a Benny Andrews. That immediately I'm happy. I'm happy
Mm.
because there's a sense of belonging that I'm seeing that is not often seen. And so when I
Mm.
can recognize my Black artists within galleries and museum spaces, that makes me happy. That's
Which
like,
museum was this?
this is the newly renovated Little Rock,
Oh, I've been
Arkansas
meaning to
Fine
go
Art.
there.
It's
It's good.
beautiful.
Oh,
It's
good,
beautiful.
good.
I have yet to really get through their actual collection because I usually just go for certain shows. But so I got a chance to kind of tip through this go around and got to go because I got Louise Nevelson.
Mm.
Love her. And so I was there, we were looking at a photographer, and then that's who I came to see, the Black photographer for the 70s. And I just love that era. And he did album covers. So, it's like you see images and you feel the music and you feel the
Mm.
energy, and they're so colorful and they're so vibrant. And so we were there. And then as I was going through, I was like, well, let's just, if you have time, because I can live in an art museum. Let's start there. I can live there, like
Mhm.
spend my days. I'm really excited about being in New York in a couple of days.
Ooh, yep, yep.
Um, I'm meeting my mom there for a wedding, and we're going to go to the Met. And I've
Oh,
already mapped,
yay.
and I've already mapped out 3 exhibitions. Like, okay, mom, so how long do you want to stay at the Met? I just want to see how your knee feeling, how you feeling. Like, because I got about three, and she's an arty like me. I mean, I get it from her, and she's like, we got all day. I was
Oh,
like, perfect,
oh,
perfect.
and now it's cold here on the East Coast. Just it turns, so it's beautiful fall weather. So get
Yes,
those fall sweaters and coats and boots and all of that stuff.
yes,
Yeah, it's
because
nice.
real fall happens
Like
there.
real fall, I know, and I've
Real
been in
fall
Arkansas for
happens.
20 years or so. So
Yeah.
when I almost, So when real fall showed up, I was like, oh, it's like the
Yeah.
movies. Look
Yeah, it's
at
like,
it.
and sadly, Arkansas has better falls than Houston. Like
Hmm.
the fall died in in Texas. It just died. So I do get a little shift here, but what
Yeah, it
I
happens
was
later.
it happens later. And you know what? As we talk about happiness, fall makes me so happy.
Oh, I
I mean,
love it. It's my favorite.
it's my favorite. I'm a fall baby anyway, so I do like a little nip in the air. I don't like being cold, but I like that cool nip that's just in the air.
Hmm.
That breeze, it's like the breath of God on you, and it's so nice. It's
100%. I'm a
it's
boot
so nice.
girl. So when I can bring my
Yes,
boots back out, I'm like,
yes,
yay.
yes, yes, yes. Like I struggle with a spring and summer fashion, but fall, I'm all over it. I am all over it.
100% same here.
Uh,
Now, you talk about how your journey brought you to happiness. What do you mean by that? What's your journey been like?
so I've always been that the child that's like, okay, I'll try it. If you say, okay, I'll do it. And I'm a little bit of a people pleaser, just want everybody to be happy. I'm still being accused of that to this day by my siblings, but they'll live because I ride for each of them. But just figuring out what I was gonna major in, what college I was gonna go to, like those were kind of paths that were kind of shifted in my directions. Those were my decisions. Now, Am I, do I have any regrets about those? Absolutely not. But it's always been a state of me figuring out what I want to do. Like education was on the last of my list.
Mhm.
Last. My mother was my art professor. My dad was my high school teacher. Educator's my older brother. He's still in education. He's assistant superintendent at a school district in New Jersey.
Mm.
And so when I graduated, when went to school, I was not going to be an educator. I didn't even think I was going to be an artist. My mama suggested it. So I said, okay. And 4 years later, I graduated with an art degree, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. But I love photography. So I said, okay, I'll be a photographer. I'll travel the world. That's my path. Went to my MFA program and was miserable,
Mm.
completely miserable. But within that, and that's why I just always speak about the journey God puts me on because He's like, I'm gonna put you in these places. You're not gonna be happy, but it's gonna lead you to where I need for you to go.
Mm.
And so from there, I was in this MFA program. I was ready to throw away paint, pencils, brushes. I was ready to toss it all. I was done. But I needed money because we always need money. And the community ed program was hiring grad students. And I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I loved it so much. Like I was looking for books. I was calling my mom. I said, I don't want to just do crafts. I want to teach these kids. I want to teach them. And I loved it. So I left that MFA program and went and got my Master's of Art Education in Birmingham. Never lived in Birmingham. Knew nothing about it. It was one of those things as I searched, that was the only school that popped up no matter what state I put in. UAB was the only school that would pop up for me. So I was like, okay, let me try being obedient for a change. And that was the first time that I felt good about what I was
Mm.
doing. And so that's when I say that journey of happiness, I've always been trying to find that niche. And so I do, I love teaching. Teaching is my happy place. It really is. I enjoy the classroom. That's why I was like, I'll do this interim thing, but my jam is really in the classroom, and I'm okay with that because I like to see the growth and I like the conversations and I like to see the build, and I mean, and it makes me want to do more. It makes me want to keep learning. So that's where I started to find my happy within what I was doing. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna be an elementary teacher. Nope. I became a high school teacher, and you couldn't have told me that I was going to be a high school teacher for 16 years. I love those babies. I could set up a first grade classroom, bring it down, and be ready for fifth grade like in 5 minutes. Like I had that down to a science. But something happened. Like a switch. It's a switch for me. Something always happens. And so I only applied to high schools. And that's how I ended up back in Memphis because I got a job teaching at a high school and I taught there for 10 years before I moved to Houston.
Mm.
And that shift was I was happy, but I was missing something.
Mhm.
And I would explain it as like a bird in a cage trying to expand their wings, and it just won't go. And that's how I felt. And I was like, well, I don't know what this is because I love what I'm doing. I'm happy, but there, I don't know, it was something that was shifting in me that I wanted more. Like I shouldn't feel uneasy about something I love doing. And
You're
so,
speaking like the journey, if you put into words, from me from Tech to Northeastern. I was like, I know this feeling. Yes, keep going.
it is. Yeah, exactly. It's like you just don't know. But then that's when I started getting pre-service teachers and I got my first student teacher. And it was like that bulb went off. I said, this is what I want to do. I don't want to just be their mentor teacher. I want to educate future art educators. I want to work with art teachers. And I was doing those things, but not in the capacity that I felt. Now, mind you, I was not the stellar student. Like school always frightened me. Always. Like it, not that I had bad situations. Well, some probably bad. But I was never, so for me to say I want to get my doctorate was a huge thing. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, yeah. If this is what I need to do to be a professor to teach future art educators, that's what I got to do. Completely terrified.
Mm.
Completely terrified. And I was also attached. I get attached to my students. And so
Mm.
that was very, very hard. And it was like, if you don't go now, you're never going to go. So I actually left in January. I only finished the first semester and I left in January because another group was going to come in and I was going to stay until they graduated. That's what I did because I want to see them through. And then I got to Houston. And I think that was the first time that I was like, what, what what the hell am I doing? I was in this city. It was total chaos. It was just like, what is all this? But I was excited about the program. I was not excited about the city.
Mm.
And it might have been because I had created such this beautiful community that I still have in Tennessee. And I really just had like two or three friends in Houston, but Houston's so big, one might be 15 minutes away, one might be 45 minutes
You're
away.
also preaching about Boston here. Same experience.
Yeah,
Like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody. But it was so weird because Birmingham, I knew nobody, but I was like, this is what I want to do. Love Birmingham. I would move back today if I
Mm.
could. But it was just something different. And that was the first time I really had to, I struggled. I struggled with happiness there. I just knew I had a job to do. I knew I was on a mission for something. And it was really my niece, who's 23 now. I went home and I must have been complaining a whole lot. I must have. But I drove home for the holidays and she said, well, all right, I'm gonna spend the night at Grammy's and then you could just drop me off at home because I really want to spend the night with you. I said, okay. That's my heart. And when I got ready to leave, and I was leaving like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she said, "Well, TT, why don't you like Houston?" I said, "It's just so miserable there. Like, I really couldn't hang with my friends anyway because the doctoral program takes so much out of you."
Mm.
And I was working full time as an art teacher. In my first school there, I, it wasn't a real prison. I swear it wasn't, but it felt like one. Like it was the worst school ever. And I was like, I couldn't figure it out. So at that point, I had a little unhappiness in me. I did. And the plus sides were I was 2 hours from my grandmother, who was in San Antonio at the time. But other than that, I was like, I can't. And she's like, well, TT, if you would just think about 5 things that make you happy about being in Houston and just focus on those 5 things. She was like in middle school. And I was like, hmm. She said,
Hey.
yeah. I said, you're right. She said, yeah, just find 5 things. And when she told me that, I focused on those 5 things, and those 5 things got me through my 6 years.
Wise, wise girl. She's right.
Why she is. And it was just those little things. It was just those little things that because I was in a place where art was accessible everywhere, I made sure I just immersed myself in those things. When I had the time, I made sure I reached out to my friends so we could hang out. A lot of them didn't understand. Like there was strains on some of my friendships because they just didn't understand. Well, how come you can't do this? Well, how come you can't do that? And it's because if I'm not working on my dissertation or this coursework, I got a lesson plan I got to do as well. And I'm fighting with these new personalities that I've never worked with before. And I'm like, you don't know me. And I want you to know this side of me, but you got to get this other side of me. And so it was hard. Houston was really, really hard. But those little things, I focused on those five things. And then through those things, I remembered that because I worked with my mom so much through Art Colony, I was able to go see Delita Martin's studio. Like that brought me happiness. She's world nationally known, and I can say I've been in her studio, and it right now I can pick up the phone and call her if I wanted to. And then you have Ann Johnson, who's just a family friend that worked with mom a lot. I was able to see her go to Prairie View where she works. I got a chance to see exhibits that I probably would have never been able to see if I wasn't there. And so it was those things of finding those five pieces of happiness that carried me through while I was there. And it was all because it was a journey to where I am now, because I was pretty sad after I graduated in December because I was so ready to go. I was like, okay, that's it. Like, I still enjoy teaching high school, but I was ready to come into higher ed. And it was like, God was like, not yet. I was like, okay, but I really want to go now. And he was like, nope, not yet. And that last year of me teaching high school was very fantastic. I'm not
Mm.
going to lie. I had a student that received a silver medal in Scholastic. I had another, I mean, my students were just killing it my last year. They were, and they were like, I said, no, it's not me. It's really you, but it's just to be a part of that,
Yeah.
just to be a
It's so
part of that.
gratifying. You needed that
hmm
moment.
I needed that moment. And I didn't get it until, I really didn't get it until after I left. I'm like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
And I was always business at the top and art teacher at the bottom because I was like, I got a virtual interview, I got I was so that my last year I remember that a lot. My students like, I like this new style. I like, y'all have no idea. I am working it. I am working it.
Oh, so has the journey taken you where you want to go? Has the being an art professor, is that was it
It
up to your
has.
expectations?
It has. I think that I'm where I'm supposed to be to learn everything that I need to know to my next step.
Mm.
Do I
Yeah.
think this is my forever? No.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't trade this department or these people for anything in the world.
Oh, you have great people. Oh,
Yeah,
they're amazing.
I wouldn't. Their support that, you know, that season when my dad passed and they were just between the students and them, it was just amazing. It was
Mm.
amazing. And because I did not want to come back after my dad passed, because that was part of that happy that left me. And I was like, I don't know how to do this because I'm the only one without kids or a husband or a spouse or anything. So mama and daddy, they really my people.
Yeah.
They're really, really my people. And so I felt deflated. I said, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And how am I gonna go back here? But then that's going back to that state of being, just remembering hearing my dad's voice and like, this is what you're supposed to do, daughter.
Mm.
I'm good. You're good. You got this. So it's those things. So and that's when I actually framed my degree.
Ha!
My doctoral degree was still in that folder since 2017. I knew exactly where it was, but I promise you I had trauma.
Hmm.
It was very traumatic for me. And it took my dad passing away to say, you know what? This is a big accomplishment.
Yes.
This is big. And he was the first one to get a doctor. I said he was the original Dr. Gilbert. I said, and then my brother received his doctorate. And I was like, Lynette, you've done something here. And I said,
Hmm.
so if you can't do it for yourself, frame it for your daddy so he can see it from the heaven. And I was like, that's
Oh.
what I did.
And honestly, the further it goes, the trauma of it, because all of
Yeah,
us carry different amounts from a doctorate, it goes. It becomes something different, and it becomes
it does.
a part of a just part of a story. And it's nice to have it there because it's part of the
Yes,
story.
it's part of the story because it's part of this journey of my happy. It really
Hmm.
was.
Yeah,
And
I
I
love
did.
that.
I met great people in the program, and to this day, I want to reach out because it was my methodologist that was like, "You have a story." I was like, "Me?"
Mm.
She's like, "Yeah." She said, "You don't realize," and I don't because when I'm with my family, we just a bunch of characters.
Mm.
We are just a bunch of characters. We are a hot mess walking. It's the best time ever. I don't think about that in a family where my dad, my brother, my baby sister, we all, and myself, we all have doctorates. My mom has, actually, she's still ABD. She just hasn't
Oh,
finished
shit.
hers.
Wow.
Yes, but she has her MFA and she has her Master of Art Education.
Mm.
You know, she's like, yeah, that's huge. And when
Mhm.
I show pictures of my mom's house, she's like, no, everybody didn't grow up like that. And it was my methodologist, this little spicy Asian lady. I love Dr. Lee to this day. I love her to this day. She said she really helped me with my dissertation. She helped me find my focus and not to be afraid to tell my story. Between her and Dr. Ambush, who I'm forever grateful for. I never met her a day in my life. I read an article and it was so similar to what I wanted to do. I sent her an email and she responded to me, and it was music to my ears when that lady said, "Oh, just email me what you have." And she read page by page, left me notes for
Wow.
every note. And my own advisor wasn't doing it. And that easily became my number six of things that
Mm.
made me happy. Because if I wasn't in this place of confusion and just sadness, I couldn't find all these other pieces that were going to bring everything together for
Yeah, then that's a beautiful way of looking at it. I mean, we don't want to be in that place. We don't want to wish
me.
other
Mm-mm.
people in that place, but when we're in a place that is confusion and which often is sadness, yes,
Yeah,
we have to find our way out. And
we
usually
have to
that's on
find
the
a way
other
out.
side is our growth, right? All these things to become the person that we're supposed to be, that we're supposed to
Yeah,
grow into. Yeah,
yeah,
your story tells that.
for sure.
I want to hear a little bit about what you research in your art.
So my research, I focused on African American female art educators birthed from historically Black colleges. And
Oh,
so,
cool.
and it's so funny that you asked that because my mom recently was like, I need you to send me your dissertation. Such and such wants to read it. And I was horrified because I just knew I was on my last breath with my dissertation. And
Oh yeah, no, no. Nobody should read a dissertation after that unless
I was on my last breath and I was in Hurricane Harvey. I lost 90% of everything that I had.
ugh,
I left my apartment with my dissertation on my back.
ugh,
And some goods. And at that point, my niece was living with me, so my focus was I want her to be okay. Let make sure she has what she needs. And so I was like, Dr. Lee was the one who's like, I don't know if she has any more edits in her. We need to just approve this. Because I remember when I defended and they approved it, but with edits, my advisor was like, okay, you do another semester for edits. I said, I don't have the money or the time.
mm-mm.
That's literally what I told him. I said, I don't have the money or the time. I said, if I got to take a week off work, I'll take a week off work. I said, but you can't get anything else out of me for another semester. I said, no, that's not going to happen. That's just
Good
not
for you.
because I was like, because he wasn't really reading it. Like I love him so much more now than I did then because I got to
That's
know
what I
him as a
mean.
person.
With time,
Yeah,
you'll get over it. You're like, okay, I'm
yeah.
not mad at you anymore.
So for you to ask about the dissertation, I was for a minute I was horrified when she asked me
Mm.
about it, but that's what my research was about. And I was able to focus on Tougaloo College because I really wanted to focus on like four major HBCUs and my own, but it was just going to be too much. And so like
Mhm.
scale this down and focus on your university, but I couldn't really say put my university in the title of it. So it was
Mhm.
called Beneath the Hanging Moss because if you ever go to Jackson, Mississippi and go to Tougaloo College, beautiful trees, and there's hanging moss down the aisle.
Mm.
And part of graduation, they'll play the African drums and you march through the hanging moss.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so that's one of the powerful things about Tougaloo that I love to this day. And so I was able to interview my mother, um, and four of the graduates. My methodologist interviewed me, and then there were two others that graduated and that was still teaching. And so we just kind of told their story of what they learned there, how what they learned at Tougaloo transcended into how they educate and teach within art education. And so, and then what their hopes are for that. And out of all of us, because my degree was in fine arts, Lakeitha was the only one that actually was an art ed major.
Mm.
Because again, remember, I wasn't teaching. So art education was not on my radar, but I was an art major. And so my research focused on that. And then my hope, if I pick it up again, is to focus on those women that kind of told that story to get me to where I am,
Mm.
which would
Mhm.
include my mother. Like
Mhm.
she really is my muse. But her story as an art educator, like how she came back to Tougaloo, she was a student. She was one of the second people to graduate with an art degree at
Mm.
Tougaloo. They had art classes, but you could not graduate with that as a degree. So she was one of the second people to did that. And for her, she knows that art collection backwards and forward. And so for her, she wanted to come back to Tougaloo, but she also wanted to make sure the things that she didn't receive, that she gave it to the students when she got there. So her plan, it amazes me when people say, "Oh, this is what I want to do my whole life." I'm like, "How did you know that?" I don't understand. I don't get it. But she's one of those people. Like, I'm gonna graduate, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna be a college professor at Tougaloo College, and I'm gonna teach art and art education. And that's what she did.
Good for
That's what
her.
she did. And because of what she's done, how I look at art and how I teach art, I know that transcends into what I'm doing right now. And through the research, I heard like stories from Lakeitha that I didn't even know my mother had done that helped her along her pathway. And
Mhm.
how her knowing Felicia, and Felicia was a dual major. And she said she met Felicia on her way to beat up a professor. She said she had to go get her and calm her down. But even to this
Dang, I
day,
never have any fights that break up. Man,
she was like,
it's exciting.
So she was like, well, let's try this path if you teaching because she wants to be an illustrator, but she took there was something about her that she wanted to make sure, let me give you A, B, and C. So no matter what you do when you leave here, you can apply it. And sure enough, she taught, woo, how many years? 10, 12 years
Yeah.
before she moved into like more administrative roles in teaching
Mhm.
art. And she excelled in the programs. Her programs always soared. And so that was that focus because you don't hear about many black art educators, especially
No.
female art educators. And a
Mhm.
lot of black female art educators, there is a connection to historically black colleges. And that's what I wanted to focus on. And so
I
I
love
would
that.
love to do more interviews, just hearing. That's why I love going to conventions and I figure out where you're going.
Mm.
Or even if they didn't go to a HBCU, some of them end up at a HBCU teaching. And I just
Mhm.
think that's so, maybe that's part of my journey that I would love to have more of a melting pot to educate.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
I really would. I really would. Like I love my students here and that they're very receptive to the curriculum. But I think at some point, wherever I move forward to, I would like to have just a little bit more diversity.
Yeah.
Um, I would
There's
like to.
not a lot of that in, rural
It's not a lot.
Arkansas.
It's not a lot. And I've been asked by artists like, "How you doing over there? Are you graduating any Black art ed majors?" I said, "Well, no, not really. I have one student last year, but I'm not really sure if she identifies as African American because she's
Mm.
biracial, which that's her choice. But yeah, and I've had a couple of indigenous students, but that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
and that's hard. That is
It's
hard.
hard. It's
So
hard
and
because
and
it's always about belonging, and I just want them to know this space is for them. It really
yes,
is. It really is.
100%. Though, when I was teaching instead of administration, I primarily oversaw English education teachers, and there was something
Ooh.
so beautiful about um, you know, like growing a teacher. And they
Uh-huh.
come in and they're 18 years old and they leave and they are teachers, and that is
And they are teachers.
and it's even still, and just
It's
watching that happen is amazing.
it is. Like my one of my favorite things to do is go scroll through IG and then I see my students talk about their classrooms. I'm like, oh, this
Mm.
brings so much joy. It just makes
I
me
know,
so
right?
happy.
And
It
to
it
see them,
really does.
I have one who's like an assistant principal, and I'm like, already? And then
Already,
like,
like how
oh,
did
that
that
was.
happen? How are you
I mean,
getting
he's
older
probably.
and I'm not? I
I
don't
know.
understand. I don't get
It was probably 10, 15 years ago. He's perfectly reasonable, but to me, I'm like, aren't you 23,
You're right,
maybe?
right. Like, wow, you did that fast.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you think like in your future, right? Um, other than, maybe wanting that experience of more of a melting pot, what else would you think you want to do?
For the first time in a long time, I would love to have my own art show.
That would be wonderful.
I would, and I say that because I was that student in the studio that would find a corner, and that's where I put all my stuff. I didn't want
Mm,
anybody to look at me. I didn't want nobody to see me. I wasn't sure what my voice was. And through the years, and teaching does that to you. Teaching, as you mentor and you encourage your students, you find yourself ministering to yourself as well. Like, well, why aren't you following that same thing? Why
mhm,
aren't you doing that? So I press upon my students, you are an art teacher, but you're an artist as well. Create and show your work. So I would love to do that. Um, I still have that silly girl dream to be married and just be happy with my little husband or whoever.
mhm.
So I still have that, and those are dreams I don't want to get rid of because I'm in a beautiful relationship right now. And that was so funny because I was just talking to Neil today. I said, even if he never asks me, we're gonna ride this till the wheels fall off because we because what I do know is that for the first time as I knock on 50 that I'm in a relationship where I know he cares.
Mm. Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
And never had that before. So I like he can ask me today or never, but as long as we're together, we can go.
Mm, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love both those things because art is so incredibly important, especially it scares me to see like in the age of AI, all this AI
Yeah.
awful art, and just all it can create was art what already exists.
Mhm.
And that is a replication of, a million things,
Yeah.
and it can't be
Hmm.
the individual expression, individual human expression of their
Yeah.
identity, their history, their view of
Yeah.
the world. It can't be anything new. And so we need you to
Can't be
create
anything new.
art.
We have to create. We have to create. And so I would love that because I get excited just to know that I want to create. Now my frustration is I don't have time to, but I want to. I want to do that.
Mm,
I want to. I love it. Like art is really part of my. It's my aesthetic of joy. It really
mm.
is.
Aesthetic
It
of
makes me.
joy. I love
Mhm.
that phrase. Maybe it's time for a sabbatical then soon.
Well, now that I know I can take one,
Yes, you can.
That's the running joke. I said, I could do a sabbatical. I said, oh, I'm about to run away.
That's right. And you do the a sabbatical, do your art. What medium
Yeah.
do you work in? Do you like to work in the
I,
most?
well, I'm an acrylic painter, but I've become more mixed media
Mm-hmm.
because my paintings involve a lot of texture. I really focus in on the African American woman and hair and the journey of
Mm-hmm.
hair. So I'm always gonna play it, and I love paper. I'm a paperaholic. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's probably the one good thing that happened to Harvard. It got rid of some of that paper because I had so much paper. Oh my gosh, that's so much paper. But I love paper, and so I manipulate paper to mimic hair for me. And so, and I love patterns and prints. And of course, I love colors. And so all that is a part of my work, but it's mainly an acrylic based type of painting. But now I'm kind of feeding in more papers and patterns and textures. The series that I'm working on, I say series, but it's really only what three paintings right now and three that are still I'm working on, which means it's only
Seems a series to me.
but I call
There's
it
more
what's
than one.
one more. That's you're right. But I call it what's the tea. And I had my niece, who just graduated from Northwestern. She wrote a poem about tea, and really, it's about the things that we communicate, the things that we hold on to. Is it worth spilling? Is it worth taking in?
Mm,
Is it worth sharing? Is it worth even pondering and thinking about those things?
mm,
So it's a beautiful poem that she wrote, and I wanted my see. I think about my show, and that section would be the "What's the Tea" section. Then I have my little miss because my world really does revolve around my nieces and nephews. Because I don't have any children, so they are mine, and then my friends have graciously let me have their kids as well.
mm,
So I have my little Miss series because I just think about just the attitudes of their different ages, and my niece who is now 12, she was like the vision for my little Miss Unbothered because that baby believed in self-care. She can probably do a whole class about do self-care. I mean, I can't go right now. I need to miss my face and just be still. I'm like, what do you have a full-time job? Like, what are you doing, Miss Lake? But she has it down to a science, and I just love that. I love that she's unapologetically already who she is.
I
And
love
I
that
remember
too.
when I was 12, I wasn't like I
Mm-mm,
wasn't
I
like
was,
that.
mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I was
I
not
was I was
either.
I was still dealing with the shell shock of moving from Joliet, Illinois to Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Woo,
And
that's big.
yes, and even though Mississippi's home because it's where my parents were born and raised, I think I had the hardest time with that transition. My older brother,
Mm,
he's just amazing. He can do anything. He really can, and he's always been the one. If you need it, I got you. I got you. And then Marcus and Mary were so young; they really grew up in Mississippi. I felt like I was in some type of bad joke or something.
mm,
And so it was really hard. But reflecting out of all of this, I birthed two best friends that I've had since third grade. Well,
mm,
Angie was third. Alexis came into play around fourth or fifth, but we've been together since then. And you can't trade those kind of things because they saw something in me. Because
mm,
my sister hates when I say this. I said, but I was bullied so bad. If all of this stuff existed that these kids have to deal with now, it's a possibility I would have been a kid that didn't make it because
mm,
that's how bad it was. But it's just that transition. I was different.
mm,
And I wasn't in a place to know that because I was different, it was okay. So I
mm,
love these kids walking around with rat tails and and funky colors. Like, be you, unapologetically you, and that's why I teach the way that I teach. If I can't be authentic, then my students can't be authentic,
yep,
and
100%.
they just won't. And even though I don't really have a diverse range of RDS students, they're very receptive of understanding why it's important to have a range of artists for your students to look at. I said, because it could be your art class may be the only place they'll get this.
Hmm.
And art is just too big and beautiful to put in a box. It's just too
Mm.
big and beautiful. You should be able to talk about a Louise Nevelson and a Alison Sarr. Like you should know who both of those people
Yep,
are and see how
100%.
they intertwine. You should know that. You should just know that. So I love art. Like seeing new art, and when they give me a new artist, that makes me happy too. Like
Mhm.
I'm so giddy. I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that person. Oh, that's so good. Like I'm so excited for you. And then you
Yeah.
get those hidden surprises when a student creates a unit plan that's all women artists. I'm like,
Mm.
yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Because I tell them, this is your dream. I said, no one's holding you back. You can have your dream unit plan. What would that look like?
Yeah, who'd
Who
be in
would you
it?
show? Who would be in it? I said, this is your
Mm.
only shot because you may not have that opportunity. But
Yeah.
at least when they leave, they know I can bring in all these wonderful things just to give my students just a peek at what
Yeah.
everything that's out there. And that
I
if
w-
nothing else, if nothing else,
that's
that
exactly
makes
right. That's
yeah,
exactly right. Because you want it's similar like with English or other artistic forms where you're like, okay, what is the point of this? It's representing the human experience, right?
yeah,
And that's so big. There's so many ways of having a human experience. And so you want to see all these different ways that people have had this experience from different
yes,
places and different perspectives to really
yes,
understand what it means to be human. Otherwise, you don't understand it at all. You just
yep,
understand a couple of people who had similar experiences, what it was like for them, but not
yep,
over here and over there and over here. And then your mind goes, oh,
right.
yep,
So,
it's beautiful.
no.
You have amazed me. We're already coming towards the end of our hour, and I have learned so much. I love your story of like the five things, and I love the idea of, happiness being a state, and you go in, and even, and if it's not in that state right now, it's leading towards the path. I freaking love it.
Yeah.
So mwah. So
Every
mwah. I
now and
have
then I say good things.
you do you brilliant. So, if you have any final thoughts on happiness that you'd like to tell any of the people who'll be listening, what would you like to tell? Final thoughts on happiness.
I think I'll reflect back on my niece. Find
Mm,
those five things. Find those five things. Because I think even in all my transitioning, I focus on five things at least.
mm.
Five
Yeah, and
things
then
at least.
it's a brilliant advice because
Yeah.
hey, dark times are gonna happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we got,
They're
and that's
gonna
an
happen.
that's a
They're
tool to
gonna
help us
happen.
get through.
Yeah.
And
Just to find those things. Even when my dad died, and I was having a really weepy week last week. So it was so fun. I said, oh, she wants to talk about happiness. Oh Lord. I was just missing him. But I think about those five things just speaking out loud. That I was like, oh, those 5 a.m. phone calls when he didn't want absolutely anything. But
mm,
just like that in that moment, that made me happy.
yeah.
Or I've decided he's a Blue Jay. So when I was in Houston, and I don't see them often, but they'll always come right by my path when I do.
Mm.
So I've decided my dad is a Blue Jay. I don't care what anybody else says. It makes me happy.
It makes you happy. It's fine.
And I was walking to the gym when I was visiting with my friend that had that little fitness center, and a Blue Jay came right by. A Blue Jay. I said, "Daddy, is that you?" And he swept right back
Oh,
by.
I love that.
And I think that I want people to just know that no matter their valleys or their hills,
Mm,
that happiness is within.
mm,
Happiness is definitely within, and to find those pieces of happiness, even if
mm,
it's a little shard right now, if you could just find, because I know finding those little pieces are pieces that help me carry me through. It helped me get deeper into my devotionals and thinking about those things when I was in those hard spots. I'm like, okay, this calms me. This brings me happiness. This is where my focus should be. It doesn't look that great right now. It's a little disarray, a little messy, but
mm,
so I think I would want the viewer to realize that yeah, that being
mm,
we all have it,
mm.
and if we could just hold on to a little bit of it, it's going to carry you through to wherever the next part you need to go to. Is what I was
I love that. Last thing is one of, and I know this is actually the one people struggle with the most. One of your favorite songs, so I can put it on the playlist. That's
Oh, girl. Let me
mhm.
tell you what. I have so many songs in my head. I have so many songs in my head, but oh my gosh. Oh, that one song. You know what it would be?
What?
It will be Baby I'm a Star, Prince.
Oh, I love some Prince. Love Prince. I
Yes,
love
he's
that
one of
song
my
too.
all-time fave. They always like my 50th, I'm having an 80s, 90s hip hop theme. They're like, "You're not doing purple." I said, "No, I said I want to be a roundaway girl. I want to play LL.
Ooh,
I
Around
want to
the
wear
Way
my
Girl.
yes, I want to wear my bamboo earrings, at least two
LL.
pair." Yes. I said, but yeah, baby, I'm a star. Might not know it now, but baby, that's I'm a star. And so that would be my track.
But Lisa, Angela, Jessica,
Yes,
Renee,
yeah, Renee. All girls from around the way.
Around the
Yes,
Way. Yes. If I'm in town, I better be there because you can tell. I know some
yes.
Around the Way girl.
Come on, come dressed to impress. That's the whole
I'll be
thing.
there. I'll be
All
there.
right.
This was such a joy. Honestly, for my day today, you were one of my happy things to focus on. One of my five things. This was wonderful, and I can't thank you
It
enough.
really was good. Thank you. I think I needed to have this conversation. So I appreciate you so much for asking
Oh,
me. And I miss your
congratulations.
face. So this
Oh,
is
thank you. And congratulations on tenure and all you're
thank
doing. And
you.
I can't wait for that show. You finish it up. I want to see it.
I'm gonna finish it up. I'm gonna finish it
All
up.
right.
I'm working it through. I'm working it through.
That's
It's my
right. That's right.
sabbatical because I'm gonna take
Boop,
one.
boop. You can take one. You can take
Take
one.
one. Well,
Thank
all
you,
right.
everyone, for listening. And thank you, especially Dr. Gilbert. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye
Bye.
bye.